It was the
Allosaurus.
Yeah.
It was an Allosaurus? Okay.
Yeah, it was an
Yep.
Cool. Thank
So
you.
we purchased an Allosaurus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I should put like a picture of my face on it.
Oh, the Allosaurus. Nice.
Allosaurus.
Yes.
It's like me, but with like an Irish leprechaun's outfit on or something. Allosaurus.
Oh boy.
You can make that an NPC.
There you go.
Oh
And
boy.
this is how these
Are
ideas
you one of the racers?
started. Yeah.
Allosaurus riding an Allosaurus.
If I had like 24 hours, I would totally stat this guy out. But all right, so we've got everybody together. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, somebody's missing. Emma. Did you drop out?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Roll20's got you jumping in and out of my game.
Oh, well, I'm in.
All right. I mean, if you're going to go, then, that's fine. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Didn't like you much anyway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but you can always come back. I mean, if you just let me know in advance, and we can always have you play a guest role or something. I've had a couple of people who jumped in and out because they went to university, and they come back for like guest roles, and it's always fun. You can even play a bad guy, maybe like an NPC bad guy, which I think actually would suit you.
I don't know if you take that as a compliment or.
Take
it means
however
you
you
roleplay
want.
really well.
Or it taps into some part of you that really needs a bit of expression, and I'd rather you do that than burn spiders in real life.
Those poor spiders.
No, you can
I just
burn
won't
spiders. Just
I will not comment.
Oh, Emma, we hardly knew ye. Okay, so Henrietta, did I? Is there anything else we need to discuss or bring up? Or
I don't think so.
okay, does anybody else have any other administrative points they think we should discuss, raise? Okay,
We never went to the bathhouse.
Yes, well, that's game stuff. That's game stuff. Okay, so for the benefit of those who chose to prioritize their personal and or professional life over our most important game, who would like to, Joe, who would like to give us a summation of last week's shenanigans? Don't all jump it. Emma, why don't you do it since you're on the way out anyhow?
Right. Okay, so. Oh, give me a second here. I have to think back. Ooh. Alright, so main event of last week's session is we bought an Allosaurus, which was sick. We had to go get a bunch of coin exchanged. Quite a bit of coin exchanged, and it wasn't the easiest process because of the stupid laws where they said, 50% of anything you find on the land around here belongs to us. So any of the coin that we submitted to be traded for, like from the Dragon Sword, for example, not only had we had a 15% interest fee, but they also just kept half of it because we couldn't prove that we didn't get it from around the area. But thankfully, most of it was Dallin's money, which came from, I forget what temple you said it came from, but from your previous campaign, or earlier in the campaign, I assume. So we managed to use those funds and some persuasion to get an Allosaurus. And then we're going to be racing in the race tomorrow, and we also went to the jewel market. We sold off one of our sapphires and a pearl to some dwarf that I don't quite recall his name, but off the top of my head. But he seemed to have a thing for a particular friend of ours that has a very nice beard, and to get a deal to raise the price of our goods, gave him a piece of her braided beard, totally not creepy at all, and he was
Totally
offering her to like watch the race from his building.
And just
she
on
completely-
that point, actually, just to be clear, Maddie, you know that's just a character, right? I'm not.
Yes, it's all fun and games.
Okay, cool. All right, because if there is ever, and I won't tell you why, but let's just say I don't do any of these things. Sometimes the funny stuff I do completely just on the fly, but there sometimes are other story reasons or tactical reasons why somebody does something and it looks like something, but it's actually something else.
Mhm.
So
Is this where we have to talk to the young ones about talking to strangers?
What? We were trying to get a deal.
they look. I'll just say that Meridian's perception of the events is somewhat colored by Meridian's inability to take responsibility for Meridian's own actions, because as the DM recalls it, Meridian actually pimped out Satina.
Anyway,
So, there's a little bit of he said, Dragonborn said, if you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
and he invited her to stay up and watch the race from a room on the top of his shop, not implying anything.
It was just it was just the terrace, Haven't you guys ever seen a race or something from somebody's house or a terrace or a parade or something? I used to do that all the time from my place in Notting Hill, watching the Notting Hill Carnival. It was crazy.
After that, we quickly left to go purchase us a dino to race with. We also met the favored racer.
Ooh. Yes. Can you remember?
It started with a K. Can he?
Anybody want to help her out?
Curry?
Yeah,
Yes.
Terigaffa.
Excellent. Well done, Maddie. Wow, with the whole surname and everything.
I didn't
Yeah.
Son
catch that,
of
I'm sorry.
Ikeen Affa.
Woo! Extra points. Well done.
Hell yeah.
And he kind of told us to get out of the way, and then we revealed ourselves as racers. And he was riding on a big honker, and he's like, "Oh, don't get in my way if you know what's good for you. I'm going to be the winner." So he was like low key threatening us. And then we ended with buying up a saddle for a new aloe and getting ready for the race.
Very good. Anybody want to add anything else?
Yep. Go ahead, Maddie.
It was also revealed that we would need an adventure license if we were to continue on. And the halfling shop owner, who I can't remember his name, but Joe, do you remember his name? The foot shop guy?
Oh, you mean the one who had the not Nike tick as a...
Yeah.
Definitely not Nike.
Yeah,
Definitely not Nike.
It's Pikey.
It's Pikey, yeah. Not off the top of my head.
Oh.
What?
No, I know, and I should. I know. Look, I'm jet lagged. Okay, just give me. I've literally had my boss going, "Here, take this file, archive it," and I go, "Okay, finish that one. What's next?" She literally spoon-fed me all day.
I just saw the pictures of you and your boy toy. I'm not sure is that what they're calling it these days? Jet lag? Is that what it is?
Oh, if it, I'd be more than jet lagged if I'd got my hands on him. Trust me.
Hun, we are recording. Don't say anything that'll incriminate you. I cannot stop the recording now.
Out of the soap.
No, don't. I have nothing to hide.
Henrietta's definitely not editing this out. She'll say she's going to do it, but she's not going to.
Yeah.
And the important buildings and stuff at the top of the hills, the Hollow Gold and the Golden Throne both have golden domes. A lot of golden.
There's a lot of gold. There's gold in them dar hills, literally. Yes, excellent. Very good. Yes, the halfling paladin who has gone into the footwear business, which is obviously a bit ironic for halflings. His name is Chip O'Shoulders. I can't believe
I
you
did
guys
not
can't
know
remember
the old
that.
shoulders bit.
Yeah,
I remember
you
Chip. I
did.
don't remember the old shoulders.
Yeah, I've said it. I must have said it at least 3 or 4 times to you specifically, Joe. And because he's Irish, he's got a bit of a pikey accent. For those of you who don't know, a pikey is a derogatory slang, I believe, for people who are travelers, who are mostly of Irish origin, but they mostly live in caravans and they move from place to place. And it's somewhat like the Irish version of a gypsy, which is also a derogatory term, apparently.
Mhm.
So yeah, he runs a shop called Pikey's, not to be confused with the ubiquitous footwear brand that I love wearing personally, and I think I would love for them to sponsor us at some point.
Not that we're recording or anything.
Not that we're recording or anything, or that we would pimp each other out for the sake of any real or fake money. See, Emma, this is what you're missing out. I mean, you sure you need to work? I mean, food is overrated.
Just come back at the end of August or whenever it finishes.
I would just randomly get sick every afternoon on a Friday.
or just don't eat regular food that you have to pay for. I mean, Zagig tried living on sand. I mean, I just feel like you're not trying hard enough.
Obviously.
All right. Well, it's a sad moment. Oh well.
I'm excited for this race. It's going to be so much fun.
Yes, but you haven't actually you're not ready for the race yet. The race is still tomorrow, and I had a picture for this. Hang on one sec. Okay. I had a picture for our friend Tariq Afa, who rides Big Honker, who is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And what is the name of your team again?
Mad Skills.
Mad Skills. That's right. Because the guy just couldn't be bothered to write it down correctly or to edit it. Twice. Well, it's government work. But I don't know what you expect from him. In fact, let's put him on the. This is what he looks like. Looks like a bit of a twat.
Mommy's boy. Yo,
Definitely.
yeah. I'm gonna tell mommy. I'll tell my mother. He threatened to tell his mom on us if we did anything. Like when.
And then he spit at your feet.
And then we made a joke about him having small. Yeah.
Yep.
Laughed directly in its face. It was a great moment.
It was a great moment. Yvonne, is there anything you'd like to add?
Not yet. I'm actually nervous about this race. I'm not really sure what we're going to be doing and who's going to be riding that Allosaurus.
Well, this is a good question. Well, you guys have plenty of time to think about it because it's only just getting dark. And the sun is setting. Tomorrow is the day of the races. There are 3 races, different ones, but you're entered in the final race, which is the most aggressive and combative and kind of almost anything goes. But there was some discussion about maybe going to the public bathhouses to try to get some information, as I recall. Is that right, Henrietta? I think
I just wanted to take a bath. I wasn't after that information.
But information would be a plus.
Yeah.
Do we need?
But I just wanted to take a bath.
Are you still going to go as a rat? Or a cat?
Yes, do it.
to the bathhouse.
To the bathhouse. I remember we had a whole conversation about whether or not they let a cat in.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get cleared if I took a bath as a cat? Also the big question.
It's a very good question.
I will try to refrain from any dirty jokes, but I won't promise.
Do we need to register our Allosaurus in the race?
I think we just have to be there like 45 minutes before, right?
That's right. Yes, you've already registered your team, but you have to report with the Allosaurus, and then you have to wait there. So they have to inspect your Allosaurus, make sure everything's up to snuff, make sure that your team is ready, and then you basically have to be prepared and ready to wait, so that they're not looking for people at the last minute.
I think I got confused. I thought Dallin might turn into a dinosaur, and
yeah, that was a considered tactic at some point, but
right.
I think you guys discussed it amongst yourselves, and if I recall, Henrietta, you looked at the spell description and tactically thought maybe it wasn't such a good idea. I can't recall why.
Yeah.
Okay,
Since
good.
I'm not level 6 yet. It's probably that's why we bought the dinosaur, because I'm not high enough level, and my conjure animals spell isn't what I thought it was. I can't
Totally
decide
makes
what.
sense.
Yeah, animals.
So you will
I
be
can't
riding.
conjure. Oh, we haven't decided that yet.
Okay.
Yep. In fairness, the conjure animal spell isn't what we thought, but it's not that it's not possible. It just means that you might try and not succeed, but if you don't succeed, then you don't have a dinosaur. You could get something. You could get anything. Yeah. Well, for a dinosaur race, yes, it's not ideal.
It's a little bit of an issue.
A little bit of an issue.
And it only lasts an hour, right?
Joe, I'm looking at this picture of you and your crush, and I see one hand of yours. I don't see where the other one is.
That would be round his waist. Because,
hey.
Now, bearing in mind, this convention was meant to be a no-touch convention, and he pulled me into a hug, so I wasn't complaining.
Whoa!
So, yeah. I have plenty of other photos, it's just that one's my favourite.
Your low-cut blouse, I'm sure, didn't hurt, so good for you. Well done. All right. And that's actually pretty much, absent the beard, that's pretty much exactly what happened with Satina and the gem merchant.
Right. I dazzled him.
You did. He was completely dazzled. In fact, you get so dazzled, nobody even bothered to ask his name. Which is why Emma doesn't have a record of it, because nobody actually asked his name, which is fine. Okay, so you are in Port Nyanzaru. The sun is setting, and it's going down behind the hills, and as it does so, it sets off some of these golden rooftops to the point where it literally looks like the city is covered in precious metals. As we've discussed, the city is hot, it's humid, it is completely overgrown with jungle vegetation just about everywhere. There isn't a single bit of land or wall or terracing that doesn't have something growing on it. But they do the best they can with it, including, for example, taking advantage of all the water resources. So you often find very small ponds and fountains that have not just spewing bits of water, but even watery jets, because there is a very active temple of God, which Satina would certainly know is one of the gnomish gods and famous for invention. So very good at mechanical creations, and utilizing water power for both work as well as aesthetics is something that Gondish priests are certainly capable of. Plus, you've got the Temple of Sun, which is dedicated to the goddess Sun, the goddess of beauty. So anything that is aesthetically pleasing would also be well regarded and received. And the Temple of Savris, which again Satina would know, because Savris is an under deity reporting to another god who reports to Mistra, the famous goddess of magic. And Savris is a god of wizards, and specifically divination wizards. Cora, of course, would be aware that Timora is the goddess of luck. She's certainly been in a temple of Timora before, in one or two places, Phandalin included. And she's also come across worshippers of Joaquin, who is a goddess related to merchants and the creation and gathering of wealth, famous for being one of the patron deities of the nation of which is, of course, was a former colonial power in Chult and the suzerain, effectively, of Port Nyanzaru until very recently, just about a decade ago. But now the city is, of course, run by a number of merchants, and they're all local. In fact, the committee essentially is comprised of 7 merchant princes. Can anyone name one or more of the merchant princes that you are now aware of, even though they are somewhat spoken of in hushed and somewhat secretive tones, especially depending on what they do?
There's Akin Afa. And then there is Wakanga Otamu. He was a merchant prince.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the main one that we're trying to see, but I didn't write down their name in my last notes.
Jessamine.
Jessamine.
Yep. And also Ifan Talroa, who is the owner of the Dino Mart where you purchased your dinosaur from.
Oh, I was looking for.
Mm-hmm. There are a couple more that you haven't really spoken to people about, although you may have actually heard one or more names sort of dropped in passing. Zindar actually is not a merchant prince, but he does have a very high station in the city as the harbor master and essentially the defender of the harbor, along with the dragon turtle, Greenback, who has oddly disappeared.
Strange.
Where he's gone.
I'm sorry, who was the goddess of magic that the Savros, the underdeity was of?
Mistra.
Yeah,
like
okay.
M-Y.
She's the one who got killed, right?
She's been killed a number of times. It's a sign of just how toxic 70s and 80s and 90s D&D lore written by white men. They kept killing her off.
Rude.
Yeah, exactly. And the last one was the cause of the spell plague, which I think we've all discussed at one point or another. I'm not sure if Yvonne may know about it from another source, but the spell plague essentially occurred about 150 years ago. And it is imagine all the magical rules completely being upended such that anybody with arcane casting ability was unable to control their abilities. It's a bit like, if you're aware of X-Men at all, the concept that when you turn 13 or you hit puberty, your mutant powers manifest themselves and you typically don't know what you're doing, and very often terrible accidents happen and lots of people get hurt. Essentially that happened, but everybody was affected all at the same time, even people who had been, doing it for years and years. And so there was a period where every single arcane caster was either being hunted down or was out there accidentally killing millions of people, or some of them were executed. And so there's still this residual distrust of arcane casters in many parts of Faerun, to the point where in for example, there are no real arcane casters except for people who work for the state in a policing kind of a capacity. Long-winded answer. Hopefully that answers your question. But, Satina would certainly know this. In fact, Satina is old enough that she would have been around for part of it.
Ooh.
Maybe the tail end of it. And Silvery Moon, being a very heavily elvish city, would have been affected as much as anybody, if not more so. All right. So, yeah, you guys can go to the baths and get clean. If that's what you'd like to do, you can investigate part of the city. Whatever floats your collective boat. Oh, one more admin question. Did anybody have any questions with the adjustments I made to the character sheet? Maddie, I made a couple of big changes to the hit points, I think, and I wasn't sure if I had misread.
Yeah, those were because of the the like aid and stuff that I probably just didn't take off.
Okay. All right. Okay. But if there's ever anything that doesn't look right to you, let me know, because you should know your character better than I do. So it's entirely possible I misunderstood something. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Bathhouse? Bath? Some of you might be a little bit stinky.
Yvonne, you and I said we were going to stand out by the door, right?
Yeah, we were. Like, I don't need a bath.
Well, Yvonne's character is Cracker, so hopefully Yvonne doesn't need a bath because she has good hygiene in real life.
Cracker doesn't need a bath. Or at least Cracker is resistant to bathing.
Quite different. quite, potentially quite different outcomes. One implies cleanliness, and another one implies relative indifference.
Relative indifference. Yeah, there you go. I would have to be convinced that it was necessary.
Now, does Cracker get the impression that other people feel the same way about Cracker's hygiene, or is this
I'm not sure
just
if I'd
Cracker's
notice.
opinion? Well, yeah, that's fair.
I'd have to be told pretty directly.
Or you could roll it. Do you want to roll insight?
Yeah.
Do you notice other people shying away from you whenever you sort of raise your arms to stretch?
Oh, well, maybe.
17. That's a pretty good roll. Yeah. Yeah. You wonder why you always get a seat on the bus.
That's excellent. Yeah, there you go. Well, maybe I'll run in for a quick dip and come back out. I don't want to sit around in there, though. I just run in and come back out.
And Meridian doesn't like hot baths anyway, right? Or actually does. But Meridian's also fire resistant, isn't she?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Just cold resistant.
Yep. That's a thing at 6th level.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll go in to clean out the grime from my scales, but I'd prefer an ice bath than some hot steam.
Yeah, I'd quite like a bath.
Okay, so are you all going into the bathhouse?
Seems like it.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't split the party, really, even if some don't have a bath.
Just come and hang out in the bathhouse.
Yeah. Nothing strange about that at all.
All right, to the bathhouse.
Onward.
I'm not using soap.
Wow.
None of that fancy frilly stuff.
Wow.
Just
okay.
Plain old water.
Yeah, that'll do.
So you guys hoof it from where you currently are, which, as I recall, was actually closer to the Dynamart, I guess.
Yeah, we had just bought the saddle.
That's right. You paid for your what was supposed to be your free saddle. Complimentary saddle. Like complimentary nuts. And you get to the bathhouse.
Oh, wow.
It is absolutely beautiful, as you would expect. This whole city is, although it is a bit wild and it isn't necessarily specifically targeted towards beauty in the most direct sense, it does a number of the institutions, and the public bathhouse is definitely an institution, have the benefit of a lot of care and attention and funding provided to it. And so you can feel that this is a place that all Chultans and members of Port Nine's Aru society, from the lowest to the highest, take pride in and enjoy. There is, of course, the sound of tinkling water. Spices fill the air. Many of them are very, very pleasing to the nose, although some of you culturally may find it a bit off-putting, like perhaps a dog with a very sensitive nose walking into a soap and candle shop. I imagine, how does Cracker feel about lavender and rose hips?
Oh, it's a lot.
Cora probably feels pretty comfortable being a former priestess of Lathander, or current priestess of Lathander. Maybe mix in a little bit of blood. She's quite enjoying it. Yeah. How about Dallin? Dallin's from the realm of dreams. Does she dream about scent?
Sure. Maybe, well, she can dream, so maybe she uses some incense and stuff to get to sleep.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe.
Yeah, a little sandalwood. Never hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Fair point. And Satina? Does Satina have any thoughts on scents and soaps and other things?
I think Satina would love all things like good smelling. Since halflings are all about like good vibes and enjoying the earth around you. So I think she would be loving this.
Yes, although Satina's a dwarf.
Well, she was a halfling.
She was a gnome.
She was a gnome. That is correct. I forgot her own race.
What is going on?
I'm
Are you playing a gnome in another campaign?
I think I am playing a halfling in another campaign.
Halfling in another campaign? Okay, well that makes sense.
My bad. That's on me.
No worries. And
I mean, still same basis.
If you say so. I mean, I guess they're both short. Are you short in real life? I don't know how tall you are. Oh, you are? Okay, well that makes sense.
Average height-ish.
Well, Joe's short in real life, but she plays a 6-foot-tall Brazilian model, so there you go. How about Meridian, Emma? How does Meridian feel about all this?
Meridian doesn't necessarily mind the smells. However, she is sneezing ferociously.
Why is she sneezing if she doesn't mind the smells?
Well, you can like a smell, and it can still make you sneeze.
Fair enough. Yep.
I like the smell of pepper, but achoo.
Yeah, but it helps not to actually stick your nose in the pepper grinder, I find.
This is true.
I mean, does she like go up to a bowl of potpourri and just like dunk her snout into it, just like plop, and then come up with like a whole bunch of like petals jammed up her nostrils and
She'll take a sniff and regret it, and
okay. Really? Excellent. Roll Constitution.
Oh boy. Let's see. Constitution. Saving throw. Oh hey, look, I'm good. Okay at those.
Oh, and you barely hold back a dragon breath attack. But you do manage to freeze 2 rose petals that then clink and land on the ground in front of the party.
I eat them.
Ew, but also in character. Fair enough. Well done. Okay, so as you approach someone who you take to be an attendant, an older Chultan male, very thin and wizened. He looks like he's got the weight of the world on his hunched over shoulders, and the lines in his face would make canyons blush. He sticks out a palm and says, "Welcome to the bathhouses. Would you please donate what you can to the upkeep of the facility?"
I'm going to give him a gold piece.
I'll give him one as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Very kind. And he's still standing there waiting for the others to put something in his palm.
Fine, I'll give him a gold.
Very good.
I have no coins left because I gave.
I'll put one in for you.
Okay, thanks. I'll add it to the tab.
Very good. Thank you. Towels are on the left. Dressing rooms for any sex you prefer are on the right, left, and center. And the bathhouses are in the back. There is a caldera and a hot room, and there is also a general mixing area, and there's one for people who prefer to be with just their own sex and those who don't mind mingling with others. There are also saunas in the back and private rooms for an extra fee. Would you like a private room?
No.
Pass.
Oh, well. Suit yourself. Please do shower and scrape before entering any of the general bathrooms. It's just considered polite. And then he looks at Meridian and says, and if you feel the need to shed your skin, please do so in the back room.
I'm not a snake.
Oh, we don't judge here.
Although it depends what kind of snake you're referring to, but
You say it as you huff and puff, and as you walk past him, a little bit of skin flakes off your tail. And he looks at Cracker and goes, yes, please do take advantage of the baths, young lady.
she's just adding her
All
own
right.
sense to the air.
You may stay as long as you feel necessary.
There's nothing wrong with the natural smell of a woman.
Well, I
That's a
won't
matter of
disagree
opinion.
with that. I won't disagree with that. But thankfully, I lost my sense of smell a long time ago. So thank you for reinvigorating it today.
Anytime.
Oh, yes. Hello, sir. Good to see you again. Your usual room is open, and of course, your partner is waiting. And you turn around and you see Tyreek Affa staring you down. What are you doing here?
Getting a milkshake.
Going to sunbathe, obviously.
This is not the place for milkshakes.
Maybe not for you.
Do you know who my mother is? I know everything there is in this city. I know where the best milkshakes are. No one can beat the milkshakes we have. This is not the place for milkshakes.
Oh well.
I guess we'll just have to enjoy the baths then.
Yes. Well, I suppose some of you really do need a bath. And he strides past you arrogantly and doesn't drop a coin in the old man's hand, but he does hock a loogie at your feet.
Oh, get a room.
Sort of fitting disorder. Really seems like he can't control it.
Yeah. Don't you have a private room for that? You could do that with your friend.
Ugh, this man.
And he strides off without acknowledging you.
What a piece of work.
I really
You see him turn a couple of corners, and then way down in the distance, about 40 feet out, there's a little door, and it's got some hanging vines in front of it, and a couple of beautiful-looking men standing in front, really just almost practically naked. They're just wearing loincloths, but they're incredibly chiseled. They don't look like Chaltons exactly. They look sort of like Northerners, but something's a little bit off about them, but you can't really tell what. But they're standing there in front of the doorway, and as he knocks on the door opens, some steam comes out, and a few tendrils of what appear to be vines almost grow out through the door, and he walks in and closes the door behind him.
Interesting.
Meridian's doing the thing where she's laughing and like sticking a finger through her other fingers.
Sticking a finger through what?
Like you like with the index finger, and then you make like an O with your other hand.
Oh. Oh, Emma. Emma, say it isn't so.
Really? That is the thing I get comment on? Okay.
Oh, Emma, grow up. Honestly.
Man, the double standards here.
Boy, oh boy, from beard tugging to this.
So, do you guys want to go into the try out the baths? Does anybody want to go into any particular room? There's a dry steam. There's a steam room. There's a dry hot room. There's a massage area. There are wading pools of different degrees of water. There are groups and clumps that seem to be somewhat private and people hanging out, and there are other individuals. There's, of course, the changing rooms. There's plenty of towels of various lengths and sizes. Some people walk around with towels on their heads, men and women. Some of them walk around with no towels. There are literally naked people just wandering about as well. Nobody seems shy about their bodies. It's all understood that this is a public place. There's no gawking of that kind. And interestingly, although there are some areas that seem to be sort of segregated, they seem to be segregated by social choice rather than any deliberate cordoning off. You do see people who, although it's hard to tell without clothing, do appear to be richly adorned with jewels and things, and then other people who seem to be just basically, naked folks walking around with towels on and presumably are less well off than some of the others who are attending the baths.
Just like to find one of the cooler temperature pools.
Mm-hmm.
There are any?
Yes, there's actually a frigidarium, which is essentially just practically ice water, which is extremely interesting considering the fact that you're in a tropical environment. You can see people dipping toes in before they go in, and as soon as they do so, they've got goosebumps. Lots of folks just sort of standing there, tentatively trying to get themselves acclimated before they drop themselves in any further.
Meridian's gonna dive right in. Finally! Relief!
You dive in and you create a massive splash, and you freeze half the people standing around on the edges, and there's a loud chorus of complaints. Hey, watch it! What are you doing? You're making it a mess. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, it's so cold. It's so cold. One of them says, that's really cold water. I'm not normally like this. And a female standing next to him goes, yeah, sure. I've seen you before. One of the other patrons that you see, she looks up at you and says, I remember you. You were with that weirdo trying to sell swords that were broomsticks outside the bridge.
I was.
Well, you all were.
Yeah? What were you doing?
I was trying to get around your blocking the bridge, you numbskull.
Oh, looks like you made it.
Well, no thanks to you. But usually, people get out of the way of the big racers. There's a little bit of respect around here.
So you're racing too?
What? Of course I'm racing. Don't you know who I am?
No.
Well, I'm Harple Bright Bastard. And I'm
Say that again?
racing Harple Bright Bastard, and I'm racing Nasty Boy.
Nasty boy.
Yes, Nasty Boy.
How do you spell your name? Sorry.
Harp, like the instrument. L-E-L-L at the end. And Bright Bastard, because, well, it's a long story.
Fitting name.
Excuse me?
It was
Don't mind her.
compliment.
She's not good in social situations.
It was a compliment.
May I introduce the rest of our party? We are racing Mad Skills tomorrow.
You're racers. You lot.
Mhm.
No.
Yes,
Go on.
Hey, women have to stick together.
absolutely.
And what odds have they given you?
Newcomers. So, could go either way.
Well, I don't think it's going to go either way. Probably you'll get 50 to 1 or 100 to 1 because they don't expect you to win.
Bigger pot when we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 33 to 1, so you should respect the order.
Well,
I
seems
think
like
I
we,
think it's right.
sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, you were going.
I was just gonna say, well, seems like the top dog doesn't respect very much at all.
Ooh, Tyreek?
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know what his secret is. He wins almost every race. I mean, that boy is blessed or something. You wouldn't think it from the way he rides initially, but yeah, he's got, I don't know what it is he's got between his legs, but it really does a good job of controlling that dinosaur of his. And as you all look at each other at the double entendre, she goes, his knees, you steer with your knees. Have you ever ridden a dinosaur before?
Are you insinuating that it's not between his ears? That it's
And she
not his.
looks at you. Roll a. Are you trying to confuse her, or persuade her, or intimidate her, or what are you trying to do?
Oh, I'm just trying to find a way to have her talk a bit of smack.
Okay. Yeah. Roll a straight charisma check. And Joe, why don't you roll for her? There you go.
Nice.
That's awesome.
She blinks, and then blinks again, and then she looks up at the ceiling and goes, "I never thought of that." And then she just sort of wanders away. Huh.
I think you broke her.
I think I broke her.
You didn't even have to touch her.
Not bad.
She was saying that Tyreek wins nearly every race.
Yeah.
Do you
it seems
think-
a little
Some
suspect.
advantage?
Maybe.
Mhm.
What if he, I don't know how he would give himself an advantage that high, though.
I wonder if
Unless-
it's something to do with that room he just went into. So late at night before the race.
Maybe. Or maybe it's got to do with his mother. Maybe she has some pull.
Yeah, but you just go whoever's across the finish line first. I mean, what kind of pull would you need?
Maybe she bribes the other racers. But then I guess she would know about that.
What's in it for her, though?
Not having an embarrassment of a son, but I guess she's already kind of failed at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice swipe.
A canny alpha takes 1d4 psychic damage from a distance. You see a lumbering turtle slowly make his way down the steps. He moves like he's about 1,000 years old, and he passes by you. Oh, excuse me. Are you planning to eat that? He says as he looks at Meridian and points at a bit of potpourri stuck to her shoulder.
Oh, no, you can have it.
And he takes it with one of his two of his fingers, pinches it, and he starts nibbling on it. Oh, and he gives you the half of it that he hasn't eaten back to you. Trying to watch my weight in front of the race. Don't want to be too heavy. Which sounds interesting considering his shell looks like it weighs about 400 pounds.
Racer 2, then.
Oh, well. Yes, I've been doing it a long time. The name's Leatherneck. Leatherneck Long Years, and I'm riding Mountain Thunder. How are you?
Just enjoying the cold here. Have you tried it? It's quite refreshing.
No, at my age, cold does more harm than good. Besides, I'm naturally cold-blooded. I prefer to warm up a bit. And he dips a toe in the caldera. Goes, ooh, just right. Any hotter and I'd be turtle soup. Anyone getting in? Care to join me?
Old timer.
Stories?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. And he slowly lowers himself into the pool and then disappears under the surface, and you just see a little trail of bubbles going in a slow circle until he resurfaces a few seconds later. Oh, you wouldn't mind scrubbing my back, would you? And he hands you a brush with a stiff bristle on it.
Sure. Why not?
Oh, make sure to get behind the neck. I can't quite reach it, you know.
So as I'm scrubbing his back, Crackers tries to start some conversation about the race. How many races have you been in? How long have you been doing this?
Oh, let's see. And he reaches over with one of his front claws and extends his other arm, and he looks at his forearm. And on his forearm, you see what appear to be scars carved into his left forearm. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 5. About 40 years, I suppose.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I used to win occasionally, but not lately. Mountain Thunder's getting on in years.
What kind of dinosaur is Mountain Thunder?
Oh, he's the only Dimetrodon in the race. Big sail and all that.
Wow.
Yes. Lovely beasts, but when the wind blows across the bridges, you know, those bridge sections, they can be a bit tricky. He's gone over more than once, although, to be fair, Pink Honker had something to do with it each of those times.
Huh.
Big Honker and, were they always in the lead ever since joining? Were they always the winners?
Oh, well, I mean, and I think in the beginning he didn't really win very often, but, I'd say in the last sort of 24 races, I can't remember him losing.
Seems a bit unlikely.
Well, yes, the statistics would suggest he should come at least second or third once or twice, but somehow he always manages to pull it off. He does very well in the sharp turns. Usually the more aggressive beasts, like the Tyrannosaurus rexes and the Allosauruses, they tend to lose control somewhere, especially around the Red Bazaar, with all that blood and guts filling the air and them getting excited, or in the Grand Souk with so many distractions. But one has to give him some credit. That young Tyreek, he's very good at maintaining control of Big Honker. Even Scarback, the other Tyrannosaurus Rex, doesn't usually do anywhere near as well. Odds of him winning, I think, are about, as he scratches his chin, maybe 20 to 1, I think.
Nobody questioned this before? Seems... well...
Questioned what? I mean, it's a race. There's got to be a winner somewhere.
Pose.
And he is the son of a merchant prince. Akeni Afa has a wonderful reputation. She is extremely well regarded. In fact, I can't think of anyone with a better reputation other than possibly Zindar, the harbor master.
Well, of course, but that shouldn't speak to the abilities of her son.
Well, I wouldn't have any opinion on that. Certainly not one I would share with strangers, but I'm sure it's just a run of good luck. Oh, that's a nice spot there, young lady. You've got a talent for this. And you can see like his neck sort of stretch out a little bit as he leans into the scrubbing. Are you sure you haven't done this before?
And I nudge him a little with the brush and I say, come on, we're not strangers now.
I'm far too old to be taken in by your charms, young lady. But I'll give you credit for trying. Oh, the truth is, I don't know. If he has a secret, it's certainly not one I'm privy to. You might ask some of the other riders. All of this talk and bathing is making me tired. I think I'll go have a nap. Excuse me, will you?
Thanks for all your info.
No, not at all, not at all. Always good to see a new racer. Up until you arrived, I was last in place in the betting at 100 to 1, so thanks for pushing me up the scales.
Anytime.
Good luck to all of you. Of course, I say that, but I don't really mean it.
And same to you.
Ta-ta. And he sidles off, and his head comes in the shell, his legs come in the shell, he disappears under the water, and you see some bubbles. You get the sense he's probably going to take an hour-long nap underwater.
Nice fellow.
Well, that was interesting. Yeah.
Cora!
Yeah.
Cora, is that you? It's
Who's
Chip
that?
O'Shoulders.
What are you doing here, Chip?
Well, I wanted to get a little bit of a foot scrub, didn't I? A little pedicure to show off me peds in front of the big race. And he extends his toes out, and you can see that he's had each and every single toenail painted a different color.
Oh, wow. Pretty.
Yeah, my racing stripes.
You race as well?
Well, of course. It's the thing to do. It's great advertising. I'm racing Jungle Princess.
And what type of dino is that?
A Deinonychus. She's small, but she handles well. Not unlike my ex.
TMI. Just too much information there.
Well, Anyway, so care to join me? And he jumps into one of the medium temperature pools. Splash.
I'll sashay over and, slowly.
Have you
wander
taken
down
off
the
your
steps.
armor? Are you wearing? What are you guys?
Yeah.
What are you guys all like? Are you guys wearing your undergarments? Are you wearing your?
No, I'm
No.
in the buff.
Are you,
I'm good.
okay.
No, I'm not getting my clothes wet.
All right, fair enough. Yep. Is anybody else wearing anything particular? What's Meridian's already in the water? So what's Meridian wearing?
Scales.
Or scales. Okay. But bump.
Yeah, she's got her cloak tucked up and just off to the side.
It's got her cloak tucked up. What? Sorry, what do you mean? Like tucked up between her legs like a diaper?
No, like it's just folded and not in the water.
Oh, okay. So you're in the buff. Meridian's in the buff. Okay. Is everybody in the buff?
Yep.
Okay. So it's like 70% in the buff, and then there are a few people who are not for some reason. They're wearing. It's not a bathing gown so much as it is sort of like a very light undergarment, but it's basically like either a short sarong for the men, or it's more like a very, very thin towel held up just beneath the armpits. In a couple of cases, you see women who are wearing essentially like a toga-ish type outfit that's slung over one shoulder, so one breast is exposed and the other one isn't. And they've got a very loose kind of a robe tie around their waist, which they undo, but they slide into the pool with the garment or the shift still on their bodies. But nobody seems, nobody talks about anybody else's body. It's considered quite rude to make comments about somebody else in this particular setting. An attendant comes over and says, "Hello, may I get you something to drink?"
Yeah, I'll have a cocktail, please.
Cocktail. Okay. Anybody else want anything? I'm not sure if we have one of those. Do we have one of those? Yes, we have. Well, yes, we do. Do you mind?
I would like.
Yep.
Sorry, I would like an iced tea.
Iced tea.
Yes.
Okay.
Tea, please.
2?
Pardon?
Oh, did you say 2?
No, just one hot tea, please.
Hot tea. Oh, yes. Okay, that's easy. Yes, we definitely have hot tea. Pretty much everything's hot around here. Anybody else?
Cora, can you spot me?
Yeah, of course.
I'll have a
No
light
problem.
ale, whatever you've got on tap there.
Oh, ale. Yes. Ooh, okay. Yes. We don't have ale here. We can get it from outside. That's fine. No problem. Yes. Okay. Anything else?
Just an ice water, perhaps.
He looks at you while you're sitting in what is possibly the largest tub of ice water in the whole city.
Well, you don't want me to drink the bath water, do you? Not that unhygienic.
Okay. And he scurries off. And a few moments later, he comes back and he's got some ale. He's got a cup of steaming hot tea. He's got an empty glass that he hands to Meridian.
Fair.
He's got a chunk of ice that's shaped in the letter T that he hands to Satina. Oh,
I'll
no,
hand
it was
that over to Henriette.
It was to Dalin, rather.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, what am I getting?
And you literally get like 4 chicken feathers in a glass. It will all be put on your tab. You can pay on the way out. Just ring if you need anything else.
Thank you.
My tea, right, though, right? It was just like a steaming cup of tea.
Yeah, you're the only one who really got what you ordered.
Nice.
You and the ale. Cracker got a real ale. You got a real hot cup of tea. Everybody else got something a little bit weird. Emma, does Meridian like push away the detritus and the dead skin cells to get at some cold water?
She'll go thirsty for the moment.
Suit yourself.
Didn't I get a T shaped in ice or ice shaped in a T?
You got ice shaped in the letter T.
Yes. I'm gonna try and break it in half and give half of it to Meridian. And then
Okay,
I'm just gonna lick it like a lollipop,
fair enough.
sitting in the steep.
It's very cold. It sticks to your tongue.
Well, thank you. Thank you very kindly.
Well,
I will also lick mine like a popsicle.
Excellent. Okay, so you guys enjoy the hot springs. Do you want to talk to Chip or talk to anybody else? There are lots of people walking around. If you guys want to engage in other folks, you can tell me a little bit about who you're looking for, what you might be looking for. There's people who look like merchants. There are people who look like guards or gladiators. There are folks who look like they're normal people. Even beggars are allowed in here as long as they respect the rules, even if they have very little money to give. So it's all very fair is the right way to describe it.
Unless there's anyone else in the cold pool, Meridian's keeping to herself.
Yeah, there are people who like sort of dip a toe, but then you just see them kind of shiver and they rub their upper body and their arms together and go, woo! And they look at Meridian like she's completely berserk, right? And just kind of like, ooh. And they get back out again, sitting there in the cold water up to presumably your chin, sucking on a piece of ice as if you can't get cold enough.
You're probably not wrong. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh yeah, was Dallin coming in as a cat? That would have been interesting. Meow. I would like meow.
Meow.
A nice tea. Meow. Okay. I think it's a good time to take a little break. If you guys want to do anything else, you can think about it and let me know when we get back. Otherwise, we can skip ahead to the next morning.
Okay.
Very exciting.
Race time.
Race time.
I'm glad I didn't miss it.
Yeah, we did. We didn't plan for it to take as long as it did, but you guys really managed to stretch it out with the interactions with the poor dino salesman and the gem merchant. Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Let me know when you guys are all back. If you guys are all back.
I'm here.
Okay. Well, it's a real shame you're leaving. It feels like you just got here.
I know. I'm really sad.
Are you?
I love the game.
Oh, well, that's very nice of you to say. Is there anything you want to tell me in terms of how I could improve the game or make it more interesting or?
Huh? Off the top of my head, no, but if I had a couple minutes, I could probably think of something useful.
If give me some time, I'll find something to criticize.
Okay, no, that's not how I meant it. I'm trying to be helpful. No, it's a great game. I've had a lot of fun. It was the first one I've joined in a very long time, and
Right.
I really liked being able to play my character with everyone else. So.
Right. So does that mean you're not going to be able to play because aren't you in another campaign or something or?
I am, but it runs from 10:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. on Saturdays.
So
that's well within my.
Yeah. 1:30 a.m. on Saturday. Wow, that's late.
It is. Well, for them, it's more like it goes to like 12:30 a.m.
Right.
Their time zone. But I thought I would indulge myself in having one game where I can stay up like late on a weekend because I'm usually pretty good about my sleep schedule. But
fair enough. Yeah.
You know, I if there was a way I could theoretically still play, I would. But man, I gotta live.
Oh no! I totally understand. It's I always appreciate it when people can make changes to their schedule for the game because it tells me how important it is to them, and there's nothing more satisfying.
Oh, I absolutely did. I used to usually during the week I would have like classes at the time of our game, but because they were all online and asynchronous, I'd be like, you know what? I can play this, and I'm just going to do this class later.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. Well, we certainly enjoyed having you. I think that's fair to say. And anyway, I did.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I gotta say, this has been my favorite group I've interacted with for sure. Great energy.
Well, I think it starts with having a kooky mom figure, and then it sort of goes from there, really. So,
who could you be talking about?
We've got a couple kooky mom figures actually. So, and that's not even counting me necessarily.
No, you're the father figure.
I'm a little bit of everything.
No, that's true.
I'm the orphaned kobold, the goblin waiter, everything. So, alrighty, looks like everybody's back. So, yeah, it would have been good if I'd actually prepared something whilst you guys were off getting your coffees, but I didn't. So you'll just have to wait 1 sec. Yes. Okay, so the day of the big race. So, before we start, who the hell is riding your Allosaurus?
Yeah, we haven't decided that yet, have we?
Henrietta, Dallin can speak to it, right? So wouldn't that give you some sort of advantage if you were to ride it?
Well,
if you wanted to, of course.
Sure, I can. I have +4 in animal handling. I don't know if anyone has any more. Coral, Joe?
No.
Bear with me. Don't know what I've got
Forgot to
in there.
mention, Joe, your character Cora is typically wears heavy armor, but I mean, you're certainly welcome to try to do it. But in this heat, it's basically going to cause you to have one level of exhaustion if you're doing it all the time.
Yeah.
Unlike the island, which wasn't, it's only a few miles away, but it's literally in the middle of the ocean. So you can imagine how that helps cool things down. There's none of that here. You're basically in a great big bowl. It's like the Los Angeles basin, it's just like heat everywhere. So, Joe, if you want to think about it, you want to think about whether or not you wear your armor or take the exhaustion.
I would remind me how exhaustion works.
Well, it's in the rules. I think the first level, I think it's disadvantage on skill checks or something.
And would it be a first level if I did the full race? Are we talking one level of exhaustion?
Yeah, the race itself doesn't affect your exhaustion. It's just a question of whether or not you end up having more than a level of exhaustion because of other factors, such as an inability to rest properly or something else, or eat.
Because I've got a +5 in animal handling, but I wouldn't want to take my armor off because that's going to leave me really, really susceptible to a lot of attacks.
Yep.
So I think I'd rather take the exhaustion.
So the first level,
if I'm going to ride it.
Yep. The first level of exhaustion is disadvantage on all ability checks, and I specify the difference being skill checks are all ability checks, but not all ability checks are skill checks. So I might, for example, a moment ago I asked Yvonne to give me a charisma check, just straight charisma. That wasn't persuasion, so that would have counted as an ability check. Initiative, the modifier for initiative is also an ability check, so that would be disadvantage there when you roll initiative. You may not have to roll initiative for the mechanics of the race, the game that we're going to play as part of the race, but that's an example of another area that you would have disadvantage on.
Okay. So what does everybody think?
I'm leaning towards Dallin.
Mm-hmm. What would the... Oh, never mind. I remember. Never mind. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to really take off your armor, right? Because will leave you... If you wanted to, I have mage armor, which would add to your AC, so you wouldn't be as squishy. I don't know.
How much does it add to your AC?
I'll post it for you. It's 13 plus your dex.
Yeah, so instead of base AC 10, you start at base AC 13. So Cora, I think, has a -1 to dex.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So she would be 12, yeah.
Which is what I am without my armor anyway.
Yeah. That's a normal build. Most people who play strength-based characters have low dex because they want to be able to wear the armor, and the armor offsets the dex.
Right.
Don't we have a pumpkin hat? That's bark skin, isn't it?
Yes, you have a pumpkin helmet that casts bark skin. Well done, Henrietta.
Yeah, and that bark skin is AC 16. I have the spell, but it's concentration. So if I want to cast one of my other concentration spells, I will lose concentration on that.
But if I wore the hat, I get it anyway.
Yeah, then you can cast bark skin on yourself. It's up to 1 hour.
So that would be That would be more acceptable, wouldn't it? If I took my chainmail off and then I've got an AC of 16.
And I mean, there's no rules against, wearing some armor.
Oh,
Yeah, but I've only got chainmail.
Yeah, no, I mean for the bark skin though.
Oh,
Like,
I see what you
I'm trying
mean.
to imagine they wouldn't get mad at you for that,
No, I think I was just looking a bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Um,
concentration.
You look like you've probably been out in the sun a bit too long without any sunblock,
yeah.
or you have or you have like a 10-pack a day smoking habit.
Oof.
Okay, well, if you want me to ride, I am happy to take off my armor and wear the barkskin pumpkin helmet.
Okay.
Um,
So the pumpkin helmet. So this is an interesting case of just making sure we understand the rules. The pumpkin helmet allows you to cast the spell Barkskin,
yeah.
which means you'll be susceptible to the concentration requirement.
Yeah.
So you would need
You
to
can
maintain concentration, so which obviously can be broken if you take damage.
we
Yeah, that's very
could
true.
actually give the helmet to Cracker and make her cast it on you because you can cast it on another person, can't you?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And she doesn't
Yeah.
have any other concentration spells. But if she rages, would then lose
Could be a
concentration?
problem.
I know that you can't cast spell while raging, but can you hold out concentration spell
No,
while raging?
no,
No.
Mm-mm.
yeah.
So we're
Unlike Wild Chick,
screwed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm not
Satina
the
already
best
has a
choice.
helmet that she
Yeah.
didn't want to give back to somebody.
Meridian, do you have any concentration spells that you use?
The spells I have might not be helpful for us.
No, but if you don't have any concentration spells or you don't use it, then you can use the helmet and cast Barkskin on Cora and hold
Oh,
the concentration there.
yeah, no, I don't have any concentration spells. Or I have one, but it's not really relevant here.
What the?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's. I'm like looking at my Discord, like I didn't do that.
It's just that I can talk to the dinosaur to mad skills. I can make a bond with it so that I can talk to it telepathically. I can also cast animal friendship so that it's friendly towards me for 24 hours.
You
But
see, I think that's where you'd have the advantage over me.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Uh, that's mm, 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 mm.
Do you think before we leave the bathhouse, do you think Chip would talk to Cora about maybe some speculation about Tyr and why he keeps running Tariq? Tariq. I spelled his name wrong, so it looks like Tariq.
I was also thinking that I could go into the Mad Skills. Is he placed with the other dinosaurs now in the stables?
I don't remember that you specified what you were planning to do with him.
No, but if we go there, could we rent the stable for?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I suppose you have to because you can't. I mean, you can bring dinosaurs do roam around in the city, but they're mostly either extremely well handled or they're extremely docile. And Mad Skills is trained, but not. He's not particularly well suited for all of the distractions of the city, I suppose.
Into the
Or-
bathhouse.
Yeah, into the bathhouse.
To the bathhouse.
Wreaking havoc. I was just thinking if we put him in the stables, then I have a reason to go into the stables, and I could cast Speak with Animals, and I can try to speak to Big Honker.
There are stables. In fact, you joke about it, but there actually is you do see signs for the soaring saurian, which is listed as Port Nyanzaru's premier dinosaur resort and spa.
Huh.
Okay, then.
Keep that in mind.
If Matt
After we
Skills
win
does
this
well.
long race.
Yeah. Matt Skills deserves it if he wins.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Be like, if you win, you could get a
Spa.
full complimentary stay at the spa that you will enjoy so much.
Mad Skills is just running around in the pool. He bites one of the other people sitting in the pool. Ah!
Oh no!
He just shakes
Blood,
him around
blood
like a
everywhere.
rag doll, like a Rottweiler with a steak. Just whipping him around.
There's
Oh,
blood.
that's terrible.
Blood everywhere.
Then he
Why
yeets
did we
him.
do
He lets
this?
go and he yeets him all the way into the other pool.
Do you think you should heal that guy? Is he okay?
He's bloody
minor-
and he limps
I-
out.
Can I minor illusion
I'll go
something in front
round
of the dinosaur?
after and clear them up.
Sorry, what was that? Maddie?
Oh, I was gonna minor illusion something in front of Mad Skills to keep him occupied,
Like what?
or like a fish.
Okay, yeah. Let's roll deception.
Okie
And
dokie.
who wants to roll the intelligence check?
I'll do it.
Well, actually, I guess it's just a straight. Okay, fine. Yeah, go ahead.
2.
Yeah,
Nice.
he goes after the illusion of the fish, chomps right through it, and then he looks very pissed off that it's not a fish, actually.
Oh no.
That was me trying to do a Allosaurus, but it turned into like a gargle.
Sounded like he was drowning.
I'm like gargling some scope.
Today's 29th.
All right. Yeah, so do you want to drop them off at the dinosaur resort, or do you want to just leave them in the stables, or whatever you guys want to do?
Big Honkers was in the stables, right? He was chained
Yes.
up.
Yes. All of the dinosaurs, pretty much all the dinosaurs that you think might be in the race were there.
Well, I love Dallin's plan to see if he can speak to Big Honker.
Then we have a reason to go into the stables, and I don't have to sneak in. And I can cast Speak with Animals outside because it lasts for 10 minutes. So I don't. Doesn't seem like I'm cheating if I cast it inside the stables. Then I can just go and talk to the animals like I do in real life. Not that I get any answers in real life, but I do talk to them.
You sure try.
Yeah. So we might get some information on if they are cheating or not.
I get answers when I talk to the animals.
Do you?
Yeah. My dog tells me every time that he wants more food.
Yeah.
It's lies.
I can tell. There's a difference between he wants a walk versus he wants food.
Mm-hmm. One of my dogs starts to shake when he's hungry.
Shake?
Yeah, he shakes. He just...
All I'm imagining is your dog just vibrating rapidly.
They usually get food in the crates because it's 3 of them, so they don't argue about the food or fight about it. So when he knows it's time for food, around 7:30, he runs into his crate and he just starts shaking. And he's
With
waiting for
excitement,
food.
you mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
That's
Waiting for
fantastic.
food.
That's a tough life.
Yeah.
All right. So, so is that what you guys are going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so you see your skinny dinosaur salesman. He goes, "Oh, you guys back? You want another dinosaur? We don't take any returns. It's as is."
Oh no, we love Mad Skills. He's great.
You
We
do?
just yeah. We just need a place to keep him. So we want to rent a stable place.
Oh, yeah, sure. We've got one left, sure, but I don't know if it's next to Big Honker, so I hope you don't mind.
No, that's okay.
Okay, sure. Let's see. Do you need feeding? Has he eaten already?
I think
As
he
you
needs
as he
feeding.
as
Well,
as he looks at the Allosaurus, and there's like a towel still hanging from one of his giant fangs. He looks like he's maybe eaten already.
he could use some more food. It was just a leg. Just got a leg. So
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So if you want food included, I guess 2 gold pieces, and then is it just for the night or?
Let's say 3 nights, just to be sure.
Okay. Yeah. So 6 gold pieces, and
Mhm.
we'll do all the feeding and cleanup, but you've got to bridle and tack him and brush him and whatever else you'd have to do. Clip his toenails.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Again.
And he leads you into the stables, and all the dinosaurs are either sleeping, eating, or a couple of the more aggressive ones kind of pull at their chains as you walk past. But the chains generally all hold. And of
Generally.
course, you see Big Honker, and there's the 2 empty stables, one on either side, and he says, "Well, you can take your pick."
Just pick the one on the right side.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. I would recommend at least 2 chains for him. He's not that big, but obviously Big Honker needs 4. But I think 2 would be more than enough. And he hands you a bunch of chains and a bunch of collars and locks and keys.
Get the others to help me chain.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, let's all have a group animal handling check.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
Boy.
I cast guidance on myself.
Okay.
I'm going to...
Oh, Meridian.
Oh no.
And this is how Meridian exits the campaign.
Yeah.
Oh,
I become the meal.
Under the dinosaur.
The good news is you save 4 gold pieces because Meridian ends up feeding the Allosaurus.
Oh no.
Okay, so despite Meridian's awful roll, the rest of you rolled so well that you've definitely managed, on average, to get your pet and ride Mad Skills under control. So well done. You loop it around a couple of times. You manage to secure all the chains. He settles down a little bit. Your youngster sales guy, stroke stable attendant. By the way, his name is Lee. He comes back with a bucket of raw parts that look a bit like they might have come from one of the other dinosaurs that maybe didn't win the last race. And he plops it in front of you, and he looks at you with his arms on his hips. So, anything else I can do for you?
I think we're good here. Just gonna brush him and get him ready for tomorrow.
Okay. And he's still standing there.
Are you gonna
Tip.
watch? Oh, do you want to tip?
Oh, I mean, I couldn't. It's really up to you. It's your discretion. Honestly.
Give him 5 gold.
Oh, that's very generous. And he pockets it into the same pocket that apparently is used for saving up to pay off his student loans, and he walks off.
Yeah. Oh,
All right. Well, good night, folks. See you tomorrow at the race.
Good night.
And as he leaves, you are left with just your party and a bunch of dinosaurs and also other exotic creatures, including flying winged snakes and winged monkeys.
Hmm.
Okay.
If I knew I could get away with it, I would talk to Big Honker. But I don't think we'd get away with it.
I thought Dallin was already going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast animal friendship on big honkers.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Nice.
Okay. So just as a reminder, folks, Cracker is a barbarian. Yvonne, do you want to tell them about what you can do? I mean, you don't have to. It's up to you.
Well, yeah, I've learned a few things. I can speak with animals through my path of totem,
Oh,
but it's pretty new to me. I'm just practicing, so I'm a little unsure. And then I do have a bit of beast sense through my totem path as well, because I am totem path of the bear. Come from a
Right.
bear clan.
Very cool.
Mhm.
Let's
So
go,
you've been
Crack.
practicing with chickens, basically.
Yeah, I've been practicing with chickens.
So how does it sound
So,
when you're trying to have a conversation with a chicken, Yvonne?
That's about it. I don't do the roosters; they're just too noisy. That
It's
sounded
great.
bad.
I got
Too many double
Yvonne to do a
entendres.
chicken.
See the chicken. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, okay. If you've ever been to a wedding.
You
But I
guys are
could, do you want
Oh
me
great.
to
yeah.
share those? Do you want me to share those with you?
Share what? The chickens?
Yeah, the chickens. The beast sense spell, just so you can see it.
Yeah.
Feel free to post it. Yeah, sure.
Okay, there's that. And here's the speak with animals. Now they're rituals, so they take a bit longer to cast.
Well, you seem to be by yourselves, so at the moment there doesn't seem to be any time pressure.
so
Okay.
if me and Cracker starts to ritually cast speak with animals, and someone just keeps an eye out, so that
Yeah,
nobody comes in when we're doing it.
Sure.
good
Yeah.
plan.
Who's going to
Good
be
idea.
who's going to keep watch, as it were?
I'll help out. I'm not the best, but
Okay. What's your passive and what's your active? We'll go ahead and roll an active, but give me your passive as well.
my passive is only 11.
No.
Not the best, but I'll help.
I
And
have.
I got
All right.
I'm
7.
happy to. I'm happy to help. My passive's 15.
All right, that's a little better.
I do have a
So-
passive of 17, so
Yeah, but you're busy.
yeah, but it's passive.
And mine's 9, so
It
I'm
is
not really
passive,
paying
but
attention.
I'm going to say you're so engrossed that even your passive is going to take a hit. So,
Okay.
which is essentially the same as being at disadvantage, except it's passive. So, yeah. So as Meridian is, proudly boasting that she's going to keep watch, she basically gets focused on like a bug that's crawling across the floor, and Cora just kind of like comes up behind her and like taps her on the shoulder and says, "Just that way."
The bug could pose a big problem. I mean,
Poisonous.
Could be a spy.
could be a spy.
Could.
Exactly.
Could be.
Okay, so you guys are Cora with the 9 perception. What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah.
That bug is really, really interesting.
Drowsy from the baths.
I told you.
Yeah, so you cast your speak with animals. Big Honker is continuously pulling in at his chains, just sort of very hard to settle down.
Does he have a 4 or higher intelligence?
He does not. He is
Okay.
he is a Tyrannosaurus Rex through and through.
Yeah.
So
he knows that I don't mean him any harm. If I cast animal friendship on.
Oh yes, I was going to say is so you're going to cast Animal Friendship. Okay, fine.
I do that before I
Yep.
start ritual cast. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. He settles down a little bit, but he's still kind of pulling and tugging. Now he doesn't seem as interested in trying to go after you as he just seems agitated.
Mhm.
There's a lot of clanking of chains, rattling of the wooden boards and posts that the chains are attached to, but it looks like with enough effort and enough time, this could potentially come crashing down around your head, but not tonight, maybe.
And at the same time, I'm trying to speak with him, right? Now that she's calmed him.
Well, I think you both are speaking. You both, so you two can, you two can talk to him.
Do you want to go first?
I don't know. Does anyone have any specific questions?
Just
Just
treat him.
I might just try to persuade him to see you as a friend and not an enemy during the race. That you're not somebody he wants to hurt.
He will.
Yeah.
Well, not a friend, but he knows that I don't mean him any harm because the spell lasts for 24 hours.
How does his owner treat him? Like, do you think that he's like ill treating of him and his training? Maybe that's why he's so agitated all the time.
Mm-hmm. Besides being a T-Rex.
I mean, yeah. Besides being a T-Rex.
Yeah, that's awfully stereotypical.
Right?
It is. I'm making assumptions here. A little prejudiced.
I think you're being a bit Rexist.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, first I'm going to introduce myself to him. Just gonna say hello. My name is Stalin. How are you today? Start very easy.
Oh, I'm just fine. No, he doesn't say He pulls and pulls, and then he seems to calm down briefly as he realizes you're actually communicating with him. And of course, for the rest of you who don't speak Tyrannosaurus Rexus, you're all just hearing Dallin going. He kind of leans back a little bit, snorts, and you hear, you understand from his grunts and his snorts and growls. Need to get out. Want to run.
What's making him want to run?
We're translating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't like being in cave. Want air. Want to hunt.
Do you like being in the races?
And he kind of cocks his head a little bit. What is race?
Yeah, right. You're not smart. Your owner, Tyree. You know your owner? The one that usually rides you? When he's on your back. When you run through the city and try to outrun the other dinosaur. Do you think that's fun?
Haven't run for many, many, many moons. Only leave cave to go into ship or other cave on water.
Hey.
And then come back to cave.
What?
You have no memory of these races that you've been winning?
What is race?
Where you run outside?
No running.
Tyree, your rider owner Does he treat you okay? Or are you only chained up all the time?
Metal bones, always.
Little
Yeah.
bones.
Mm.
Like it.
Hmm.
So they're feeding him something that makes him not aware of what he's doing.
Or
He's not
there's
there.
someone
Yeah.
that can do what I was supposed to do. That can turn
Yeah.
into a T-Rex. Because he says that he's not racing.
Mmm. Food.
What's
Are there
food?
any food left in Mad Skill's bucket?
I don't know. Is there? You tell me. Did you
Probably
feed it
A
all
little
to
bit.
him?
some left. I give a slice to Big Honker. Huh. So never race. That's interesting. Do you remember everything that happens to you? Do you have any time that you don't remember?
Cave. Water. Cave. Sometimes sleep.
But there's no time that you suddenly find yourself to be another place and not remember getting there.
Hmm. He looks at you sort of confused.
Yeah.
You
I
sense this
confused
line of
myself.
questioning. This line of questioning might be, a bit too hard for him to follow with his too intelligence.
Yeah.
Like when you're trying to have a conversation with your dog, like your dog actually knows what's going on. And you're like, Toto, you're not really supposed to go running around the neighborhood. You're supposed to leave through the doggy door, leave a note, then come back at 6 p.m. And your dog's just like turning his head like, all I heard was Toto, blah, 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 Toto, blah, 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 food, Toto.
Yeah, that's also concentration. Um, hmm. Do you have any other questions, you guys?
What's he fed? What does he eat?
What do you eat?
What are they feeding him?
Fish.
Does the fish sometimes taste funny?
Doesn't make me laugh exactly.
Does it taste strange?
Strange, different.
Always the same fish.
Hmm.
I'm not sure he's racing at all.
Yeah.
I don't think so either. But can I do either a perception or investigation or nature check to see if he has big running muscles? Because if he's chained up all the time,
Yeah.
he shouldn't have really big muscles.
Sure. I would say that's probably animal handling, but yes, you could certainly try something else.
Oh, animal handling is.
Can we
I'll
both
give
make
you-
that check?
Yeah, I'll give you a lower DC for animal handling, higher DC for another relevant skill check.
Can do. I'm gonna guide myself. I never did. No, I'm not gonna guide myself because then I lose concentration for my 12.
Okay, so was that your roll, 12?
Yeah, but
And Cracker rolled a 20?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
she knows about muscles.
Yes, Cracker knows. Cracker knows
I
about
do.
muscles. She looks at his thigh muscles. She looks at her own thigh muscles. She sort of flexes her thigh muscles. The quads like really pop out. So, Cracker, although you both realize that he is obviously very large, Cracker can see that compared to some of the other Tyrannosaurus rexes you've seen walking around, and even your own Allosaurus, he doesn't look as physically strong as you would think he would be if he were a true racing stallion equivalent of a dinosaur.
Hmm.
You know, it's like an old draft horse that's been put out to pasture. He just
Yep.
looks like he pretty much just stands around all day.
Poor guy. I'm gonna free him when this is all over.
Seconded.
Like, why wait?
Yeah. Do it
Tempting.
But we
now.
don't.
It's not
We
like
don't want to see him
they
get
won't miss
some,
him.
I think several
and we
of
don't
you
want to
have
get
Fireball.
disqualified from the race.
And there was a
True enough.
terrible fire in the stable, and for some reason, not only did Big Honker not survive it, it was so hard and such a hot flame that it actually burned down the bones into ash.
Yes. And only in his stable. All the other dinosaurs are okay.
Exactly. Insurance fraud is the first suspect.
Okay. I'm gonna toss him another steak. And just say thank you for answering the questions. You helped a lot. And we are going to free you when the race is over.
And he growls back, "Run?"
Yes. Then you can run in the forest and hunt as much as you want.
And he tries to lower his head, but it's limited by the chains. But he gets about within sort of 4 feet of where you are.
I'm gonna take a step forward and I'm gonna pet him. Hopefully I
And
don't
and he
bite
closes his eyes and he just sort of breathes a big hot blast of steam on
Oh.
you.
Good boy.
Run.
It's
Run.
so tempting.
Mm.
And he just sort of flops down on his haunches. And the chains are so tight that actually when he tries to lay down completely, he's sort of suspended and just ends up leaning against the chains, somewhat suspended off the ground. His backside obviously is on the ground, but he's kind of leaning against the chains. It looks a little bit uncomfortable to sleep this way.
That is so incredibly sad. I'm literally gonna cry.
I know. I was crying when I wrote it.
I'm gonna kill Clary.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. But after the race. After the race.
but after race. Can I is my speak with animals still active?
Sure.
Yeah.
You can repeatedly cast it, so it's fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna cast Animal Friendship again on on Mad Skills, just to be sure.
Matt Skills looks at you like, "Oh yeah, sure. Now you want to be my friend."
No.
After you were rejected by that one, what am I, chopped liver?
Well, he understood what we were saying, so he knew that we were asking questions about the race.
I mean, maybe from an Allosaurus to a Tyrannosaurus perspective, the accent is so thick that it's almost impossible to understand. You know?
Okay. We translate. I cast.
And tell him what
I
happened.
cast speak with animals again and just tell them what happened.
Yeah. We're just gonna cuddle and brush him and try and give him a pep talk.
He looks relaxed, and as he's relaxing, he closes his eyes and leans against you, and he lets out a massive bit of flatulence, indicating how happy he is.
Just like horses.
Exactly. And in order to spread the spore around to cover as much ground as possible, he whips his tail a little bit. Everybody give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Dexterity. Where are you? There we go. Oh,
No. Where are my
And
rules?
that's how
today?
Meridian died.
I know. Well, you guys are going to laugh at me. I'm trying to figure out where I do that.
Your dexterity
underneath
saving
the-
throw?
Yeah.
It's
It's in
underneath
your-
the proficiency bonus in that box right there.
It's on the upper
I'm
left-hand
having a
corner.
hard
Of your core
day.
sheet.
I'm having a hard day.
All right, okay. Just calm down. It's all right.
You got it.
It'll be all right.
I do? Where?
No, you didn't do it. You
How
haven't
am I
done
supposed
it
to
yet.
do this?
It's like you got
if
this.
you look at
Like-
your dexterity ability score, where it says 12 or
I'm going to
on
just
the right side there.
dexterity, but that's not right.
That's an ability check.
Yeah, but if
Yeah, I
you go
know.
to the right, you see dexterity in a small.
The little box that says saving throws at the bottom of the
Saving.
box.
Yeah.
Upper left-hand corner.
I'm broken. I'm broken today. What's wrong with me?
Okay, so you
I'm looking at my
dexterity.
sheet.
All right, calm down.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
okay.
looking at my sheet. Oh,
All
no,
right,
no, it's
all
okay.
right.
You explain it. You go.
Okay. So wherever you see dexterity, just move your eyes an inch to the right, and you should see the box with the
Oh, good
skills.
Lord.
There
Oh,
you
good
go.
Lord.
That's all right. Calm down. It's all right.
Okay.
There you
Yay.
go.
You
Yay.
go, girl.
Oh,
know.
yay. We
So
knew you could
ridiculous.
do it. We
It's
knew
not
you
the
could do it.
same in Pathfinder.
I would never patronize you, Yvonne. Never.
Time freezes as Cracker.
You would. A little bit.
Only
Because
only
it's
for
fun.
humorous reasons. Meridian, of
Okay.
course, is completely covered head to toe,
Ew.
and all you see through all the brown
Ugh.
pile of poop is two white eyes blinking.
Not sure if they'll be white after this. They might be a bit pink.
And that's how you get pink eye.
Gross.
Yeah.
Pink eye and
Nice.
die. No.
Nice.
Oh.
Well, hopefully you don't touch your whoever it is who's going to be riding Mad Skills, because that might disqualify your rider.
I have a devious idea.
You're going
I
to
mean-
give Tyreek pink eye?
Big Honker really wants to run, right?
Yeah.
What if we loosen his chains up a little bit, and then, I mean, they come to get him, bring him wherever they bring him, and uh-oh, there's suddenly a second Big Honker at the race, running around Rent.
I love it.
I do like that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't look very good on the rider.
But that's assuming that they do take Big Honker out of the cage.
They
Well,
would
that's-
to pretend that he's being taken to the race.
Oh, that's a good fact. That's a good fact.
Yeah, he says he gets to a cave on the sea. So probably a boat or
He's
something.
somewhere dark and
Yeah.
fishy.
How could nobody have seen them bring a dinosaur to a boat?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But they would certainly see a dinosaur who's been cooped up for who knows how long, running around rampant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this idea.
Why don't we just
But we gotta
let him?
it's gotta be in a way that it doesn't look tampered with.
I just
Like maybe weaken the chain links.
What I've got.
Okay, you guys strategize for a minute. I'm going to be right back.
Do you think we could like I don't want to pick the locks, but how will we weaken the chain links?
Well, if we make them really cold, would it weaken the metal?
Like brittle, so it snaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could convince them, like you could communicate to them, like when they come in the morning, run, or something like that. We could or even use heat if we just lit a torch or something, and I could breathe on the
True.
chains. I just don't want to hit him.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing with Firebolt.
yeah.
Oh. Sorry, that's my
if
phone.
they're creating a dinosaur to ride like Dallin would, wouldn't they be able to transmute him into a different shape and therefore transport him differently?
I don't know. If it's a druid, then they can turn themselves into a dinosaur. But if it's like Satina wizard or something, then
Yeah, but a lot of
polymorph.
the wizard spells don't have like there is transmutation magic, but I don't know of one that can turn a person into an animal. It's mainly a druid thing.
No, but polymorph. We saw.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about polymorph. Fuck.
And you call yourself a wizard.
I
One
know.
of the first session I had with you, you had a mammoth in a Lolth temple
It
fighting.
was a mammoth and a wolf.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can't remember the name of the character.
Yeah.
What's? I think it's still on the list. This thing.
Well,
Morthos.
I'm just thinking.
Morthos did
Morthos?
polymorph.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Morthos
Was he
got
a
it
wizard?
because
No,
I didn't know he was a wizard.
yeah, tiefling wizard.
Yeah.
Morthos picked that trick up from me when I had a bunch of fae come in and polymorph them into mammoths. Right, Joe?
Yeah.
That I remember.
But Cora, I think, was a
Good memory.
Cora was an alligator or something. Yeah. Well done, Henrietta.
Well, I remember because I couldn't get past him.
Yeah.
We took up all the space in the corridor, and we were fighting the drow and
Yes.
something that came from the ceiling or something, and I couldn't get past him.
Yeah, that's right. I like big butts and I cannot lie. Okay, so what are you guys doing?
I'm thinking we don't have to weaken all the chains, right? He needs 4 just to hold them. So if we weaken even 2 or 3.
But could we also, if they take him to the boat, could we put Salazar as a guard?
Can't.
And
I wish I could, but because I don't have my spell book, I can't do any of my ritual spells, and it's not prepared.
Oh, poor
Dun,
soul.
dun,
Yeah.
dun.
But that was in my other campaign. I have a spell book.
Yeah, because we haven't gotten my spellbook back, I can't bring Salazar back.
I asked you that
very
this
sad.
last session as well, and I forgot. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Ain't no thing.
Wow, how could you, Dallin?
Satina just looks bare because she doesn't have like her backpack or her book or anything. So.
Is there a way we could loosen the chains?
How are the chains fastened in the stall? Or what
Yeah, like I could imagine it wouldn't be too hard to just like loosen like 2 of them.
Yeah, so it's a good question. So the chains are attached. There are 4 chains. Each of them attaches around the neck of Big Honker via a collar. So there's actually 4 separate collars on him. 2 of the chains are the 2 chains in front of him. His tail is in the back of the his stall, right? And his head is in the front of the stall. The 2 chains in front of his head attach to the posts that hold up the edges of the stall, but they're also supporting beams for the structure. And those chains are bolted into the actual beams. These are huge sort of Dalin would know because she's a druid. They're essentially teak wood, right? They're very, very hard. The chains in the back actually are bolted into the ground. So they're these gigantic metallic bolts. You don't know how they would get them out, but you imagine they must be some combination of lots of manual strength, more than one strong person could do by themselves, and or magic or some mechanical device. Any of those could be possible in a city like this. It could even be partly driven in by, animal labor. You've seen plenty of dinosaurs do laborious work, dragging ships, dragging parts, being used as the pulley system for cranes, etc. And each of the chains is a standard chain link. They are, none of you are forgers or anything to do with blacksmithing, but they're metal chains. So you wouldn't necessarily know for sure what they are exactly, but they're clearly metal. And they're each link is, let's call it about a half an inch wide in diameter. Not the overall link itself, but the actual cylinder of metal that then is curved into a link, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's pretty sturdy, with four of them, and him being somewhat atrophied from lack of exercise, it appears. It's enough to keep him in place.
Is there a lot of space to move around Big Honker, or
In the stall, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
You mean if you wanted to walk around him in his stall?
Right.
So he's attached just by his neck. So his backside can move around pretty freely, other than around the pivot point around his neck. So his hips, in theory, look like they could probably bump into either stall wall. And he appears to be able to back into the back of the stall.
Okay.
But there's definitely space for you to squeeze. But at the moment, he still thinks of you as friends, or at least some of you as friends. So if you wanted to get around him, he'd probably let you.
Could we could, if they're attached to the ground, is it like a dirt ground?
There are, so the whole city is, there's, for what you've seen, there's dirt and clay throughout the city where you walk. But what you noticed every time you walk out there is that there are hills all over the place. And these don't necessarily, and the cliffs around the city on the outside where you guys came in originally through that sort of outside the city harbor, they're very tall stone cliffs. In keeping with the sort of the volcanic activity, your dwarf who has stone cutting would know that these are, there's probably some sort of igneous rock underlayer. So whether or not this is attached to something that's a little tougher, you don't know for sure, but your best guess between your dwarf and your druid and your barbarian is that it's not just loose soil, because that probably wouldn't do a very good job.
Right.
Okay, but can I use my molder? It says dirt or stone.
Ooh.
So
can you? You tell me.
It says that it target area. Oh, it says loose stone. Let's see. No, the stone part is just difficult terrain.
So you can definitely do some things with the loose earth. That's a fair point. And this, but again, also just, I don't want to limit what you can do, but this is a cantrip. There is a spell called Shape Stone.
I know, and I don't have it.
But obviously I'm just trying to juxtapose the fact that one is a cantrip and one is, I think it's 4th or 5th level spell.
4th,
right?
I think.
Yeah. So it's quite powerful. So Shape Stone is the one where you literally can turn it into something fluid temporarily and recreate what you want. There's a limit to what you can do with this by definition. Okay. But you can certainly move all the earth around them.
Okay. If we do that, if I dig a hole around it and we take a lot of water, and also if we put a lot of water on top of the chain where it's fastened to the ground or to the stone, and Meridian uses her ice breath. Water expands and will maybe loosen the chain.
Well, I don't think my ice breath is the best idea because it's a kind of an area effect, but I do have Ray of Frost, which is a
Or
little
that.
more targeted. I like it.
I'm going to free this dinosaur, even if it kills me.
Even if we, like, the back chains might not be as noticeable, so even if we can just take off these 2 back chains, render them weak, it might catch whoever's taking them out by surprise and then free them.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see one more. I have 20-foot cube. That's kind of a lot. Because I actually have this prepared from. I thought we were going to have a fight in the city. I have erupting earth. But I think that might hurt him.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it
it
depends on
might.
where you center it, right?
Yeah. But
It's a 20-foot cube, though.
Yeah. But I also
How long are
have...
the actual chains?
We could also just try to break the chains, but that might be a little more obvious.
I also have this one.
Wow. Maddie, what is the saying? Henrietta don't play?
Well, I thought we were going to have a fight in the city, and I wanted crowd control, so I just prepared a lot of area effect spells.
Wonderful. I love it. Very excited. Yeah, I don't know what you guys are going to do, but whatever it is, it's bound to be interesting.
Hack at some of these chains near the base. That might be easiest.
Yeah.
Although the water idea is cool too.
I do like the water idea. Would Ray of Frost work that way with the expanding of the water? Would that work the way that we would want it to?
Sure. It's such a cool idea. I like anything that has an air of a Rube Goldberg device. So if you guys want to, pile up 15,000 dominoes, line up 10 chickens, a couple of marbles, and a water tower, plus 1 or 2 sand clocks, I'm all for it.
Sick.
All right, I can. Yeah.
So we go with Ray of Frost.
So walk me through how this works again.
I was just thinking of getting some of the water buckets for the dinosaurs. I guess they get water.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah, and there's even buckets for the other stuff.
Yeah, and pour it on the chains so that it seeps down into the stone where the chains are fastened.
Uh-huh.
You could use Mage Hand to get the bucket over.
Mm-hmm. As long as it's not too heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can also...
I think that if a 10-pound bucket is pretty heavy. I mean, 10 pound, you can do 10 pounds. 10 pounds of water is a lot of water.
Yeah, and
it's literally 10 gallons.
And we're gonna get big honkers in on the plan, so we know what we're doing.
Tell him
we're gonna explain it.
We're gonna free you, buddy.
Yeah, gonna find a way, and just Ray of Frost it to get it to expand.
Nice.
And it seeped into the rock.
I'll hit it from like 10 feet ish away because I get disadvantage if it's close quarters. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it sounds like there's a couple of steps here. One is just doing the damage itself. There's got to be some sort of an intelligence check, maybe investigation or something related to setting up this Rube Goldberg mechanism. So who's doing the setup? Is it Dallin?
Well, I would think that maybe Satina is the best one because she's a dwarf and it's stone.
Sure, I'll even give her
And
advantage.
she's also a wizard, so she's kind of intelligent.
So what is the stone cutting feature? Is it advantage on stone perception checks or?
Oh gosh. When making an intelligence history related check to the origin of the stone, I'm proficient in history.
I see. Okay, so you can make an investigation.
Just knowing the stone.
You can make it a straight intelligence check, but you can have advantage.
Okie dokie. Advantage.
Yep. Advantage.
Wait.
Okay, waiting.
Guidance. An extra D4.
An extra D4. Okay.
Yeah, I always forget it.
Yeah.
All right, so there's my intelligence.
Ooh.
Plus a D4. That is 21.
All right. Yeah, so you've got this thing kind of perfectly lined up. She's doing like a beautiful mind thing, drawing things in chalk on the side and drawing things. She takes like finger and scrapes it into like the poo that is covering Meridian. Then she uses it to draw these images and geometric patterns on the side of the wall. Comes up with the perfect placement of the buckets. And who's firing the cold blast? Is it Meridian?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, so Meridian, you can attack. Give us an attack roll.
Dallin, can you ask him to move over a little bit?
I'm gonna get him to move a bit.
Okay. You get him to move a bit. Go ahead and roll intelligence for him. See if he understands left and right.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to point as well. Wow. With a 2, that's minus.
He just sits
5.
down. He just sits down where he was standing.
Ouch.
Well, do you want me to encourage
seems like
him?
a situation where I might want to use my inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah, or somebody can try to help you and give you advantage by doing something else.
I could.
You're busy doing this. You're busy doing the stone stuff.
Darn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can use my muscle and my speak with animals.
Sure. Yeah.
And just tell him, you need to just come over here so we can keep you safe while we try to free you.
He just looks at you like he doesn't understand.
Really?
Lead him over with a piece of meat. That'll work.
Okay. I have a piece of meat, and does he have a chain that I can direct him with?
You could pull on one of the 4 chains a little bit. Each of the chains has a bit of give.
Okay. I just pull him very gently over this way, but still with some firm intent.
Okay.
And saying, do you want a snack over here? I've got a snack for you over here.
Okay. So, great. Meridian, Emma, you can roll with advantage for Meridian's attack roll. And Joe, why don't you roll the attack on Cracker as Big Honker tries to get at the piece of meat?
Can I get a dex throw?
Natural 20.
All right.
Ooh.
Go.
Yeah, you hit it right on the whole head, and perfect. And Big Honker manages to get the meat without actually biting Cracker's arm.
Yay.
Well done, everybody. Yes, excellent execution. You guys hear the Mission Impossible theme song in the background playing. All right, so you've successfully weakened these chains in the back. Big Honker doesn't notice it initially, of course, because he's now sort of digesting his massive meal and just relaxing in the presence of his new friends. So basking in the flatulence of the neighboring Allosaurus, enjoying a nice afternoon as it winds down into evening.
To be honest, I think we should get out of here so that they don't.
Yeah.
We're
So does that work for both of them or just one of them?
Yes, both of the rear ones.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like it's tampered with because I smelt. It just looks like he ripped up
You managed to
the
rip
chase.
them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel annoyed.
I mean, you can even use your mold earth to push some of the earth back over it so it's covered
Yeah.
up, but it's nice and loose. So, yeah, well done. Terrific job sabotaging it. Hopefully nobody dies.
Hopefully.
Or at least nobody you want to die dies.
There you go.
I sure hope he turns up and they're like, what the frick? Why is there 2 big honkers? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
2 big
All right.
honkers. That's a sentence.
Nice. Very good. Well done, you. So, do you guys do anything else? Or are you guys going to sleep?
I think we need to tell him to run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but now?
Why
Well,
not?
no, like when these people come and get him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't look like we just set the dino free, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So, you're planning to come back in the morning?
Well, we have to anyways to get him, right?
Well, you have to
Yeah,
get
that's true.
mad skills, yeah. But
Yeah.
you're going to come back in the morning and try to tell him to run?
Well, he
You know,
does.
this might sound crazy, but could I just stay here overnight?
Yeah, it's suspicious though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well-
at some point there's going to be some guards who come in just to make sure everything's okay, and they probably don't want you hanging around other racers' dinosaurs because even if you
Sure.
guys weren't trying to free him specifically, there's always the risks that somebody tampers with somebody else's, rig.
Yeah. You know what? Let's quit while we're ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did not think you guys were going to spend an hour and a half sabotaging somebody else's dinosaur. So well done, you.
Sabotage is not being used.
Remember when you asked me, Joe, do we ever surprise you? Yes, Joe. Yes, you do. Well done.
Do you ever sit there and go, Jesus, I wish they'd just get on with it so I can get to the good bit?
Hey, look, this is a good bit. You guys did some really good stuff. It was, poop-covered Meridian post-bath probably doesn't agree, but everybody else seemed to have a grand old time.
Good idea in here before I leave.
Feels like Meridian needs to go back to the bathhouse.
Yeah.
Or at least jump in the harbor. Okay. So you guys are just going to go to sleep, are you? Go to your rooms and then sack out and come back in the morning fresh and ready to take on the race and get started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's a plan.
Okay. So you guys go out, you sleep. It's a peaceful sleep. You all sleep a wonderful sleep because you have the feeling of accomplishment, and that more than offsets the excitement looking forward to the next day. In the morning, you are awakened by the sound of cheers and screams and drums and tremendous fanfare as people wake up throughout the city excited because today is race day. Of course, nothing is more important in Lions Island than the great dinosaur races. And as you head out to go pick up your new ride, Mad Skills, when you arrive, you realize that the stall that Big Honker was in is now empty. The 2 chains in the back that you weakened have been pulled out completely from the ground or broken. The other chains seem to have been unlocked and laid on the ground where you would expect. But there's no sign of Big Honker. And you don't know what has happened, other than, of course, there's a massive blood stain on the ground in front.
Oh gosh.
Maybe he's free.
Hopefully.
I guess we'll find out during the race.
I guess we'll find out during the race. And it looks like we're going to do the race next week.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Just tell me what happened.
Yeah. So Emma, are you said you're probably not playing, or you may be playing, or
I can try and if I just drop in randomly, is it fine? Like, there's not a good chance I'll be able to, but I might.
well, it's fine either way. For
Okay.
the race portion, especially, there's absolutely nothing that happens other than you guys will independently run racers. Somebody is going to race Mad Skills. The rest of you will represent some of the other racers in the race.
Right.
So, however many people show up is however many people get to participate in the race, and the rest of the race participants that aren't being run by one of you will be run by me.
Okay. I probably can't, but
All right. Well, let me know during the week. Either way. And then, of course, the race shouldn't take all 3 hours, so there's going to be some post-race events. It is very exciting. The whole crowd, the whole city is basically up and running around, and electricity fills the air. You know that this is going to be a wild, wild day. And that's before anybody figures out what the secret is between Tyreek and his constant success rate. Plus, we don't know exactly. Plus, we're all looking forward to the debut of Mad Skills. And whether or not some of the other racers, including Chip O'Shoulders and Jungle Princess, might take a come-from-behind win, or does Mountain Thunder and his rider Leatherneck Longears have one more victory in them? Or how about Nasty Boy and his very tough feminine rider? Some of the other folks like Banana Candy, Scarback, Ooptow's Favorite, Bone Cruncher, and Grumstopper. I mean, it could be anybody's race. Stay tuned next week, folks.
That was good.
great. That was
I'm
like
looking
that.
forward to next week.
Oh, I'm very excited.
All right, folks. As we said before, any feedback, let me know. Henrietta's going to get some copies to folks.
Where are they going to be so that I know where to look?
So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get an email address from everybody, because I think that's the only way Henrietta can send things to people. And then she'll send basically a recorded file, and you just listen to it. It'll be a video and audio file combined.
Do you have Dropbox? I can post a link on Discord to Dropbox.
I'd rather
Then you can just download.
I personally don't use Dropbox for the security reasons, but you can always send it to me directly.
But you don't have to use Dropbox to download the file from there.
Oh, I see. Oh, right. So if you post the link, you can just download it without using Dropbox?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, in that case, that's fine. Yeah. Terrific. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, Henrietta, for your editing production skills, and thank you, Maddie, for offering to find some additional music. Thank everybody else for joining and participating and offering to help out with other things in the future, and let's see who wins the race next week.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
Take care. See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.